haven't been doing any videos on this restoration of a Gibson ES345 from 1962. Forgive the noise, it's a bit of rain on my roof. This I got about 15 years ago, void of any parts. It was just the carcass of a 345 that was painted over badly, like pearl metallic paint. And when I started removing the finish just to see what it was originally, I realized it was a cherry red Gibson 345, turned out to be from 1962. So this is a significant vintage guitar. The problem with it was that the sides were deteriorating. The environment I live in the tropics, could be humidity, could be heat, or just age. The side laminations started peeling back, starting at the tail end, and all of the sides of the guitar. This is a 335 here. All the sides of the guitar started puffing out and peeling away. Actually, all of the local examples I've seen, even on this one here, I could always see here where the outer lamination at the tail here is starting to puff out. I don't know if the camera would focus, but here you will see the glue is line is broken, and this is a bit puffed out from the binding edge, right? So it's a common problem I've seen down here, and this one that I had was a really bad victim of it. So once that started to come away, I realized the whole perimeter of the guitar had loose curving joints on the insides, and it all started to come apart. At that point, I pretty much scrapped the guitar down, taking the top and back off, pretty much throwing away the sides, and I kept the whole center block with the neck on it for years. And it was just something that hung on my workshop wall for years, and people would ask about it, and I'd say, oh, it's an old rotten 345. And you know, we would just kind of talk about how badly guitars fare in this climate. There really aren't many old guitars down here. So anyway, after reading a lot of threads about people building kits like this, I got inspired a couple months ago to take it down from the wall and have a look at the plates. I actually thought I threw this away by mistake. So when I found this, I was happy to restart the project, start the project. And I also saw online where there were certain people, one being a guy named Ken McKay, turned up in a few threads where he was building reproductions of the sides and top plates, and I guess the whole guitar. For people who were doing scratch builds, who were building 335 copies from scratch. And I got in touch with him, and he made me new sides. So once I got these sides, it was up to me to analyze the carcass of the original and see how I would proceed with doing this rebuild. The difficult part is that if you're building a guitar like this from scratch, usually the plate, this is 4-ply maple laminate. Usually it's done oversized, so it's maybe an extra inch overlapped around here. So what you would do is you would just make this outline from the bent sides and then glue this on. This would be all the way out here, right? It would be pretty wide. And wherever the top overhang on the sides, you just trim that away. And then you build your guitar, you get your finished outline, right? But in this case, I had to preserve this outline, and that made it difficult because I had to build this mold and try and bend these sides. Even though I got these bent already, I had to rebend them and adjust them to match the original sides. Evidence that these are all different is obvious because anytime anyone measures these old guitars, even these 3 I had in the workshop recently, they're all different outlines. Some are much shorter hair, or the waist is in a different point, or the tips of the horns are different. And that is evidence to me that Gibson, who originally made these, probably didn't really use a mold like this where it fit very tightly. They probably just bent the sides, and however the sides lay, however they relaxed and formed themselves, the oversized top went onto it, and that established the outline. So if the bent sides relaxed into a slightly different shape, if the waist were narrow or wider, that would be the outline of the guitar, because they're all different, right? Maybe modern methods has it a little more consistent, but from what I've seen, that seems to be the case. So anyway, I built this mold, and I've been working on it, and I added my new sides and kerfing to the original block. This is a maple block in the center. And again, this was difficult because when this is normally glued on, there are no cutaways, right? So you just glue on a big flat thing here, and when the guitar is all glued up, you start cutting these holes and pick up locations and control locations in specific spots they need to be. On this one, when I re-glued the old top back onto the old the body, I had to make sure that it was back in the same place. So I put some half-inch drill bits through this half-inch holes in to realign the old parts, make sure they glue back together in the right place, right? Otherwise, these would be sort of offset from each other, and it would make the guitar a bit weird when reassembling, a bit sloppy. So this was the harder one to do, so I did that first. But what I'm going to do now is to glue on the back one, which I'll just kind of explain a little bit. The inside of this is just as curved as the outside. So I had to take a spruce block that will fill the space between the top and this flat center core. So what I had to actually do was put some rough sandpaper on the inside of this curve and rub this on the sandpaper and plane it and sand it and keep checking back and forth to get the underside of this strip layer to actually perfectly conform to the inside of this curve. It's not an even curve, it's a kind of undulating serpentine curve. It goes like that and it goes like that. So it was hard to do, but I've done it. And now this has been glued on and plain flat. So when I put this on here, it's perfectly flat. And once I put a little bit of pressure here, all of these joints will be perfectly flush to each other. Right, so I'm going to do that right now. And what else? Of course, when I put this on, I have to take into consideration the alignment. I have to keep it centered. So I'm just going to be looking at it. And I have a kind of unique clamping method here where I'm just going to screw down some wooden blocks. You'll probably see people using normal clamps, Gorilla clamps, to clamp these things together when doing these. But again, my method is a little different because I'm not dealing with those oversized plates. I really need to see my my outlines as they come together. So I'm going to do that now. This is a bit of a long video. I guess this is really for YouTube. I've been doing some little Facebook videos, but on YouTube I can do a longer format. Again, I hope you can hear me. And I know I have a funny accent too. It's a Caribbean accent. Right, the glue. This is what they originally used in these guitars. It is called urea formaldehyde, and it kind of looks like a chocolate milkshake that's melted chocolate ice cream. What it is this? Commercially, it's this plastic resin glue. There's two glues I heard about being used on these guitars: urea formaldehyde, and phenol formaldehyde, which are similar glues. I believe one is a waterproof version of the other. The phenol being the waterproof version. I think that's actually what they are. They used to glue these together. This is actually a 4-ply plywood of maple sheets, right? These were done on a mold and a press and so on. And so these have survived amazingly well. I didn't have any problem with these plates as far as anything unsticking and so on. This thing is from 1962, and not only are they perfectly laminated, no dead spots anywhere, but they were flat. I didn't have to do anything to kind of even off these. It didn't warp, even though the guitar was from friggin' 1962. Plus, I've had it just taken off and kicking around my workshop for the last 15 years or so, right? So these plates survive well. So anyway, the glue, urea formaldehyde, it looks just like the glue that I saw in here when I disassembled it. And I like using hide glue on this. The neck joint and the fretboard joint are hide glue. Just making sure this hasn't stopped. Had a little storage issue, so I'm just checking. I use high glue as much as possible, which is used on the neck to put the fretboard on and to put the neck into the body, right? That is a reversible glue once I heat it and steam a bit, and that's how I was able to take this neck off and take this fretboard off and service it. This neck fretboard is done very sloppy actually. There's a lot of group back in the factory in New Orleans. This guitar is from the glory days of Gibson, but I actually find that the neck was quite sloppy in some of the surface preparations. I've been writing about that online and probably pissing off a few people who glorify these instruments, but when I dug into it, it had some sloppy stuff in it. So that's the reality check. Right, so I used high glue as much as I could. I used high glue for the curvings here, but the truth is, I wish I could use high glue to glue this top onto here, but the truth is it just takes that little bit of time to clamp it down that the high glue would probably gel and not really stick properly. The glue joint may not survive, because when I put it on nice and wet, it's like a honey texture, and it gels very quickly. And if it gels before I get to press those two pieces together in some particular spot, it wouldn't really hold and stick and have longevity that I want. You know, you're looking for a lifetime glue joint in some places, even though on a guitar you want some glue joints that can be reversed for repairs, and you know, in case of disaster you won't be able to take off the neck. But high glue is good for that. So I'm going back to the original glue here, which is urea formaldehyde. I mixed this quite a few minutes ago, maybe 20 minutes ago, and it's got open time. I mean, I could just kind of let it sit and dissolve itself a bit while I'm doing some other things. I'm not panicking about that drying. Even Type Bond, which is not really probably the most common guitar glue, this gels pretty quick too. As soon as you put this onto that dry sanded surface, that sucks this in, and it really, if you put a nice thin layer on the wood, you come back a minute later or less than a minute later and it's actually sucked into the pores, and you feel that the glue joint is not wet anymore, that it's already started to dry and you need to add more. So this really tacks too quickly, and you know, if you make a mistake with this, boy, you're in shit, right? This too. This, I think, if you make a mistake with this, you're in real trouble. High glue is the safest, but it's the most difficult to use, right? Because of the time issue. So anyway, I'm going to do this right now, and you're going to see me do all that. Makes the video a little long, but that's what we're here for. And that's it. When I clamp that down, maybe I'll pause it. When I clamp that down, we will have my completed glued body, and after that I could put the binding on, and then we'll be working on the neck too. As you can see, I have the neck still has to be overhauled. I just got some new parts today for that, just to be refretted and so on. Right, so I will be really hitting a milestone as soon as I glue this down. Right, so I'll pause the video. Okay, I'm ready to go. I really don't think I've seen this method before, but this method of gluing I've just done here is really specific to this job because of the I don't know, I mean, it's just a one-off repair. I mean, I haven't built this style of guitar, so I didn't have any molds beforehand that I could use and so on. Right, I'm just going to go at this with a, I find that toothbrush works well for this. So I'm going to go around the edge first, then hang a swampy top here with a lot of glue. You can hear a lot of rain on my roof, so it's about a bit hard to hear me. See again, if I'm using high glue, that glue there would be starting to dry already. hide glue this is if you took a big paintbrush full of hide glue and just went like that. It could be done, but I just don't feel to take the risk. Keep in mind how much glue I have in it. Now, according to the original piece of spruce, there wasn't glue in this hole. Right? Wasn't any glue here. So that tells me that when they first assembled it, they didn't glue this surface. They put all the glue on this surface. So I'm actually going to copy that. I'm keeping that detail going. I don't want to see this is going to be visible when you look in the guitar. So I don't want to see any sloppy glue there. Although I will put some around here.